Hi everybody, my name is Wren. I'm a restaurant broker and consultant at Santa Rosa Business and Commercial in Sonoma County, California. And I am the founder and host of this series, Deep Dish Live, where we explore the business of restaurants for restaurateurs, restaurant buyers and sellers, and the restaurant curious. I'm super excited today because one, we're coming live from the Parish Cafe, and two, can we scan? It's raining in Northern California. I think the first time since we've been doing this series, it's raining. So let's see. Let me introduce my support staff. I've got Ed Troxel. He's a live media consultant. If you are doing business and you need some support with live video, I could go on and on about how wonderful live video is. Ed Troxel is your man. Hi, Ed.
Hey, thank you so much.
Holly, who is, she's with Holly Hansen Public Relations. She's amazing. She's joining us remotely so she can manage the feed. She'll post things to the feed. She'll answer questions. She's coming to us remotely. Hi, Holly. Let's see. This is episode 11 of Deep Dish Live, and today I'm going to discuss liquor licenses. The last time I came to you from Masa, I discussed in length Type 47 and 48 liquor licenses, as well as should you work with a restaurant broker, me, versus a liquor license broker, which is a completely different animal. I'll touch on that a little bit more today. I'm coming to you live from the Parish Cafe. It's an amazing New Orleans-inspired restaurant in downtown Healdsburg, California. And the owner and my friend Gareth Owens is going to join us. Hi, Gareth.
Hi, how are you doing, Wren?
I'm great.
Thanks,
good to see you.
Thanks for being here. Welcome, everybody.
We have a relationship that was forged by fire because Gareth and I worked together on the purchase of this, and it's never, even easy ones are never easy.
Yeah, but no, thanks to you for making it so smooth. It was a little bit of a lengthy process, but having someone who could help guide us through the liquor license process was extremely helpful. So thank you again.
That's a shameless plug. Gareth, so tell us about...
So yeah, Parish Cafe. We took over this restaurant about 3 months ago now. The restaurant itself has been here since 2012, called the Parish Cafe. We're about a block from downtown Healdsburg, the Plaza, right at the roundabout. This is an amazing house, and we'll kind of walk around and take a look. But this house was actually built in the 1890s, and that's what really makes this location so unique. It was actually an old dairy farm, and this was the old farmhouse. And it was actually lived in for years and years, and I love the locals that are coming and telling us stories about, oh, I used to put my kayaks in the river here, or oh, I knew someone who lived in this house. So it really is a part of the community, and that was Lynette and I's motivation when we took over, was to continue the legacy that is the parish, both in food and as being part of the community. So we're really excited to be here. 3 months in.
3 months?
Yeah.
Seems like a lifetime ago.
It does.
So the majesty of this location, you can't see it because we're so close up, but it's 2-story, Victorian. You can tell that it's yellow. It just stands out as one of the crown jewels in Healdsburg. It's lovely. And then couple that with an amazing menu. And Gareth purchased the restaurant from Carla and Rob Lippincott. They were community members, as are Gareth and his wife Lynette, and also from New Orleans, and they set the menu for this restaurant. And it has been a local and tourist favorite from day one.
Yeah, very traditional New Orleans menu. Like what we like to say too is these recipes are family recipes, right? It's your mom's spaghetti sauce, your family's gumbo recipe, but then we really bring a lot of local to it as well. All of our produce is sourced locally. Our bread is a custom design or custom loaf from Cousteau's here locally as well. So we're really trying to bridge that. We're bringing a new flavor to the area that isn't from here, but supporting local as much as we can.
Great. Want to give us a tour?
Yeah, of course. So we've got our wonderful patio. Obviously, it's raining right now, but you can imagine in the summertime when these picnic tables are full, the music's blaring. Again, it really has a great spirit and a great vibe. We've got this amazing wraparound porch here with tables going outside, but let's go on inside and take a quick look. Come on in. We'll start over here in what we call our beignet room. So this was an add-on to the restaurant after a few years. It used to be, I think, an old salon. And so the original chef put in a secondary kind of prep kitchen. So all of our beignets come out of here, all of our coffees as well. But it's a nice kind of functions as a private dining room of sorts. When you came in earlier, we had a party of 9 in here, so it's a great little space. But also just another nook and cranny for the restaurant. So, and over here in our main dining room. This was the original location itself, and so we've got obviously the big show kitchen where, again, we're doing 1,000 people a week. It's amazing that that little kitchen can make all this food. And again, just a small little cozy bar. Again, we want this to feel like you're coming into our house to eat, and that's why, again, the vibe that makes this place so special, the spirit of the restaurant, because it really is a house. So, yeah.
Well, Gareth is going to join us at the end of the episode with some of the signature dishes of Parish Cafe.
Yep.
So until then, I think that
All right,
we're
we'll
gonna
see
go
you soon.
outside. Okay, come with me. I'll get the door for you, Ed.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll talk a little bit about me. So I'm a restaurant broker and consultant. I have my foot in the restaurant industry. I'm equal in 50% restaurant industry and 50% business brokerage. I came to doing this as a dishwasher. I was a dishwasher at Tassajara Zen Mountain Center, which is where Greens, the notable vegetarian restaurant in the city, grew from. I was a chef there. I worked my way up from the cold station at lunch to the expediter at dinner. Well, I had one shift as expediter, but damn it, I was the expediter. I got to Sonoma County through Amy's Kitchen, frozen, organic, vegetarian food, amazing company. That's how I ended up in Sonoma County, and I ended up starting my own restaurant. And I started it from scratch and owned and operated it for a while, and that's how I learned to do what I do now. Although there was a big interruption in between there, I got an MBA, and now I feel like I'm well equipped to give really, really good and passionate service to my clients. So that's a little bit about me. So today we're going to talk more about liquor licenses, and I'm going to talk on 3 topics. I'm going to touch a little bit on a Type 41. I'm going to talk about a Type 75, and I'm going to talk about the application process itself. So before I get started, I want to reiterate an announcement that I've been making a lot lately, and I posted on my social media. The state of California is waiving licensees' license fees up until 2023. So if you have a liquor license, and when I say liquor license, that's a term the ABC uses. I mean beer and wine or full liquor. Liquor license is just a blanket term. If you're operating with a liquor license in the state of California, please jump on the website. More than likely, you will be it will be available to you, that license annual fee waiver, and so that would be 2021 if you haven't already paid, 2022 up into 2023. So I wanted to share that with you. So Type 41 beer and wine licenses, the ABC calls them, let's see, Type 41 on sale eating place, beer and wine eating place. So you have to have a bona fide eating place. You have to have a full kitchen. A large percentage of your sales has to go towards food versus towards alcohol sales in order to get a Type 41. They're the most common license that you see around with restaurants and bars. They're not expensive to get. They're not difficult to get, although missteps in the application process, which I'll talk about, can make them somewhat difficult. And you can get creative. With that 41 license, chefs, restaurateurs can still purchase hard alcohol, brandy, liqueurs, things that you use as inputs to the food, to the cuisine, but you cannot sell that. But it does give you the ability to buy those distilled spirits at wholesale cost. What else do I want to say about a beer and wine license? I talked at length when I was back in Healdsburg, when Ed and I were at the Downtown Bakery and Creamery. I talked at length about how to move through the sales process quickly with a restaurant, and I discussed at length whether to do an original license or the transfer of the existing license. I'm not going to talk much about that today. Jump on to episode 10, I believe, the Downtown Bakery and Creamery, where I discuss that at length, but it does make a difference. It's very little difference in the application process. There's very little cost difference, but strategically, it can make a big difference on the timing of the sale. So I'm going to talk about the application process across the board, whether you've got a 47 full liquor license, a 48 bar liquor license, a 41, a 40, a 75. The application process, like the documents that the ABC requires for that transfer, they're very, very similar. But one misstep within this ecosystem of the application can throw the whole thing into, it can really delay the process of getting an active license. And and in specific, I'm thinking of this, it's called an ABC 208A. It's an individual personal affidavit. So if somebody comes to me and they're a sole proprietor, that sole proprietor has to complete that part of the application. So does the sole proprietor's spouse. Now, on that one document, a lot of personal information. Everything that's on your California driver's license appears there. Where you were born, if your legal marital status, and I'll come back to that. Where you were married, if you're married, the date and location of your marriage, a detailed explanation of where you've worked for the past 5 years, and the investigators really look at that. Like, if there's an interruption, you have to describe what that interruption is. If you give them 4 years and 6 months, they're going to ask for that other 6 months. You have 5 years. Then also on there is your criminal record. So that's the operator, the person who's applying for that application, the ABC beer and wine application, and that person's spouse. So let's say you're an entity applying for the application. You're an LLC or an S Corp, C Corp, B Corp. Even if you're one of those things, if you're a member or a shareholder, and if a member or shareholder has 10% or more ownership in that entity as a member or shareholder, they have to submit this individual personal affidavit. So do their spouses. Now, whenever this happens, if I'm working for an S Corp, almost always there's a, wait, what? My husband isn't involved in this business at all. I own this as an S Corp. Doesn't matter. If you're in a legal marriage, that your spouse has to fill out this exact application. And if you have one misstep on the information on that application, they're going to kick it back. And in some regards, it can have, I don't want to say devastating consequences, but consequences, because I'm going to talk about this aspect of it, the criminal history. The only time, I've never seen a person get denied an original or a transfer for a beer and wine license or a full liquor license. I've seen people with very robust and colorful criminal backgrounds, as long as they disclose exactly, even if whatever transgression happened, if it's been expunged, you have to the applicant has to list it. The dates have to be proper. The sentence has to be proper. What the outcome of that sentence, what was served, how it ended, that has to be proper. So a lot of times I'll ask my clients to go and get a report of their criminal record, either at the police department, if they did some shenanigans from out of state, go get it from out of state. And this can be a sensitive topic for people. For me, I don't know, this is life, and there's a lot of things we do in this life, and sometimes we make mistakes and sometimes we don't make mistakes, but we can end up with something on our criminal record. The most important thing is to disclose it and disclose it properly. So let's see. Another thing that's very important in the application process is the chain of ownership and the financial contributions to the license. So in this regard, the ABC asks a lot of questions regarding the financials, the financial history of the entity coming in to take that license. So they're going to ask detailed questions about the business bank account, who the authorized signers are. If the applicant is buying a restaurant and they're transferring that license, they're going to want to know what the allocation of that purchase price is, a detailed allocation. It has to match what the escrow company has on file as well. You know, there are ABC investigators. By investigator, we're talking investigators. They do legal criminal reports. All applicants, whether it's the actual applicant or the applicant's spouse, they're fingerprinted. So again, all of this stuff has to be stated properly, thoroughly, and honestly. So again, back to the financials, they're going to ask if it's a gift, if the money's being gifted, then there's a whole nother addition to the application, and that person has to submit their driver's license. If it's an SBA loan, if it's coming from private money, sometimes the licensing reps at the district office will require 3 months of bank statements showing that money has been sitting in some bank account for at least 3 months, that there's not some shadow investor or shadow owner in the background that has a financial stake in the restaurant. It's a big deal. So the subtext here is you want to work with a qualified consultant on these applications. If you work with me or any of the agents at Santa Rosa Business and Commercial, and that license is being transferred as a function of the sale of the restaurant, we're going to provide you that service for free. When I say we're going to provide you that service, we don't say go to the ABC website, download the forms, fill them out, and we go to the ABC website, we download the proper forms, we might send them to you, we might populate a lot of them. A lot of them is probably information that we hold before you hold it. We're going to get it to you for review. We're going to ask you for we're with you every step of the way. If you're getting an original license and when you get an original license, often you have to do a mailing. And again, it's pretty detailed what you have to do. You have to come in within 500 feet. You have to notify residents within 500 feet of the premise that's going to be licensed. And if you're missing an address, the ABC license will kick it back to you and say you're missing an address. They might not even tell you what address you're missing. So we'll actually pay an agency to provide us. We'll give them the address of the restaurant, and they'll provide us with a resident list within 500 feet. We'll do the mailing. We'll do it all. Very full service. Let's say you're not buying a restaurant with us and you need to get a license or you're transferring a license. We'll provide that service to you for not a very expensive fee. Again, you want to work with me, somebody in my office, somebody who has a lot of experience doing this and is going to work with you and work on your best interest. We'll go down to the ABC. A lot of these documents that you're signing, like that 208A, you have to get it notarized. So it's attesting that you're being truthful on that document. And we'll help you with all of that. So maybe I should take a small little break. And one thing I didn't say is, whenever you are enjoying a Deep Dish Live episode, you always have the opportunity to win a $100 gift card. So today we're at Parish Cafe in Healdsburg. And if you like this episode, whether it's the live feed now or anytime between now and the next time we stream, which will be in Santa Rosa at 3 Leaves Heritage Food between now and 30 days, if you like and post a comment, you are qualified to win this $100 gift card. And to that end, at the end of the episode today, we'll be announcing the winner of the Mas Masa $100 gift card. Mas Masa is in downtown Fairfax, and that's where Ed and I streamed live last month. We'll announce the winner of that gift card at the end of the series today. So let me see. Holly's on the other end. I usually ask her to text. I don't see anything from Holly on here. Holly, if you have got any need from me, shoot me a text. So again, this is Deep Dish Live. My name is Wren Longmaid. I'm a restaurant broker and consultant. I'm the founder and host of this series where we explore the business of restaurants for restaurateurs, restaurant buyers and sellers, and the restaurant curious. I'm a super passionate restaurant. I'm a super passionate restaurant consultant, participant in the restaurant industry. If you like this series and you'd like to show some support to me, the single thing you could do today to support me is to hop on to my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Once I get to 100 subscribers, I get my own URL and I'm gunning for it. I'm getting close, but if you have a minute, I think Holly posted the YouTube channel in the feed. That would greatly benefit me, and it doesn't really, it's not very much cost to you. So let's talk about Type 75 licenses. Have you ever heard of a Type 75 license? So a Type 75 beer license it's a brewing license. It's a small scale brewing license. You're not going to see large brew pubs with a Type 75. You're not going to see Russian River Brewing or Lagunitas. Lagunitas is huge now, but Lagunitas started in Sonoma County, or Hen House. Those brewers have a different license, but the Type 75, the intention for a Type 75 would be somebody like the Parish Cafe. If they wanted to brew a small amount on site, with that license, those license holders can also, wait for it, they can also serve full liquor. Let's just pause for a second. So if you have a brewing, if you brew a small amount, I think it's like 100 gallons or barrel or something, it's a small amount annually, you can also serve full alcohol. So you can imagine, these licenses used to be hot, hot, hot. They have cooled in the last couple years. They've cooled, and I'll tell you why. Mostly because people were using this as a loophole to securing and purchasing expensive Type 47 or 48 licenses. So here's the deal: if you're going to put a Type 75 license on your premises, you have to have the space. I think the minimum amount of space might be 35 by 35 feet, which isn't a lot of space, but it's a cumbersome process. You have to get the license through the ABC. You have to get a health permit for the license, which means you then have to have quarry tile in that 35 by 35, cleanable surfaces on the walls. You have to have a floor sink, a hand sink. You have to have bright light. You have to have a special permitting for the room where you're doing the brewing. For most people securing this license, you have to get a building permit. It's a cumbersome process. I think back in the day, 2 years ago, it took about $35,000 after getting the license to actually get the brewing system in place to then act on the license. So since the ABC has really clamped down on these licenses, and now they'll send out investigators pretty regularly to people who hold these licenses to make sure that they are in fact brewing and selling that beer on site. They're also, another thing about these Type 75 licenses is they're at the state level in California, they're making legislative changes, like they're upping how much beer has to be brewed annually. The unique thing about this is those laws, those requirements, they're happening retroactively. A lot of the time, these permitting and licensing agencies won't do it retroactively. I've talked about this with the health department. When they're going to mandate sort of expensive code enforcement, they don't want to put an undue burden on the current operator, so they'll usually wait till change of ownership. But they're doing it now with current operators because I think these 75 licenses have been abused. Okay, I want to tell you about a very successful case study of clients and friends of mine who have leveraged they bought the restaurant. I helped them buy the restaurant because it had the 75 license. This is my friend Stacy Wagner and Mike Gatto. They own Hop Creek Pub in Browns Valley in Napa County. If you haven't been to Hop Creek Pub, do a little search on the web. They have a beautiful patio. They're creekside. They have knocked it out of the park. Both of them had long, illustrious careers in the restaurant and hospitality industry. Both of them had careers with concepts that had a brewing component to it, and they are rendering the most incredible beers out of this small system. They have award-winning beers on tap that they brew on site. So Mike and Stacy, there's a little shout out to you. So one other thing about these Type 75 licenses, the state of California is no longer issuing original licenses. You can only purchase them on the open market. Now, this is sort of obvious, but nobody's really going to go out and buy a Type 75 license to put on their premise, right? And who's going to sell, if I owned a premise that had a Type 75 license, I'm sitting on all that infrastructure to brew the beer, right? The only real way to sell that license is in conjunction with the business that's associated with that premise. I mean, people are doing it, but I don't know. What do? Do you tear all that infrastructure out and do a premise-to-premise transfer and then, put it in another location, or do you? I don't know. Oh, another thing about these licenses, you have to get licensed at the federal level. With all the other licenses that I've talked about, that's all state licensing through the ABC. You have to go to the TTB, tobacco, trade, firearm. I don't even know. It's a TTB agency. It's not rocket science, but it's kind of a cumbersome process. They don't have a lot of people working in that agency, so it can take time to transfer that license or to secure that license. I don't know. I think I'm coming to the end of what I want to talk to you about today. So I covered specific things about ABC licenses in general. I covered the Type 1 beer and wine license. And I covered one thing about the beer and wine license. You'll notice a lot of people who have beer and wine licenses, they'll have a cocktail menu. And what those operators do is they make cocktails out of soju, which is it's a Japanese distilled spirit, but it has very low alcohol content. So beer and wine license holders can sell soju, and they'll also create, really interesting cocktails out of champagne. So those cocktails that beer and wine license holders are selling are, within the bounds of their license. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. Why don't I say who the winner of the Masa Masa $100 gift card is? It's my friend Adam Wiskin, who I just saw. I'll also put a plug in for the IBBA, the International Business Brokers Association. Adam and I were just there in Houston. We had our annual conference. It was amazing. I was able to present a workshop, and guess what my workshop was on? This series, and how this series has benefited my clients and how it's benefiting me as a restaurant broker. And then if you like and comment on this episode, either now while Ed and I are live streaming, or any time between now and the next time we live stream in 30 days, you have the opportunity to win a $100 gift card to the Parish Cafe. So without further ado, we're gonna go inside and look at some food. I'm gonna take a drink of tea, hold on. Let's go find Gareth. Oh, sorry. I've got my filmer here.
All right, we're ready to try some food?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go up here to the bar over here. All right, so I've got 3 of our signature dishes here. Being a restaurant with a New Orleans influence, you gotta start with beignets. Now, most people don't think you can have sugary stuff to start your meal, but we definitely recommend it. So, light, fluffy, fried dough served with a bunch of powdered sugar on top. It doesn't get much more simple, but these are really a staple. Almost every table that comes in here is getting some beignets, whether they're going to eat them here or they're going to take them home to the kids. So.
I'll be taking some home today.
Yeah, these are Wren. But again, a staple. You go to New Orleans, you go to Cafe du Monde, sit around, have a chicory coffee. This is what you're going to be eating. So again, very traditional recipe that we're using here. So next we'll move on to the gumbo. A Creole gumbo. Ours is made with chicken and andouille sausage, so no seafood. Gumbo really is one of those dishes that, just like your grandma's tomato soup or your tomato sauce, every gumbo is going to have its own unique kind of familial aspect to it. Every gumbo is going to taste a little different. So ours has a real nice, rich, dark color. We use tomatoes, but it's about 50-50. Some people use tomatoes, some people don't. But we have that real true Creole gumbo.
And as a Southerner, I have to call out the okra.
Yep, got to have the okra. The okra is a major part of it, and a little bit of the gumbo filet on top, which is a very traditional New Orleans ingredient.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so
just the presentation alone.
I know, and it's when it's raining out, this is the perfect kind of warms your soul, warms your body kind of dish, and it wouldn't be a meal without one of our po' boys. So this is a classic fried shrimp po' boy. It comes fully dressed, so what that means to have a dressed po' boy is mayonnaise, iceberg lettuce, tomato, and pickles, and that's it.
It's
perfect
gorgeous.
sandwich. And
Where do you source your oysters here?
we work with Gulf Coast seafood. It's called Gulf Fish, and so actually all of our seafood does come from the Gulf Coast. We do, we want to be as true as we can, and that is one area where we kind of reach out of our local boundary. Everything else, all the produce, all comes local.
Great.
But for the seafood, again, we want to make sure it's coming from the place that we're giving homage to. The bread is local, made by Cousteau's. I got to highlight it because that's what people talk about the most. And it's actually a recipe that the original owner and the folks at Cousteau's came up with together just for this location. So it's light, it's fluffy, but it's got a great flavor and a great texture to it.
So let's talk a little bit.
Yes.
5 days a week,
5 days a week.
breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch. We're open at 9. We close at 2. A couple days off just so we can have
Regroup.
mental sanity.
No, you guys, Ed and I walked in here today, and we do 1:30 intentionally because it usually quiets down. It was
here.
off the hook. That's
Yeah.
why we were outside. Okay, wait, and is it you buy breakfast and lunch and then
So,
Sunday
yeah.
breakfast all day?
Yeah, we do breakfast starts at 9 every day, and we usually last eating is about 11 o'clock for that. And then Sunday we do breakfast all day. So you can, I love when people come in here, even Benedict's at 1:30, and it's Sundays for breakfast, Sundays
Right.
for brunch.
Right.
And New Orleans is known for brunching, and so are we.
That's
so,
wonderful. Well, Garrett, thank you for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much, Wren.
We'll talk
Appreciate
to
y'all
you
being
soon.
here. Of course.
I'll
Thank
come
you.
back to package these up.
Yeah.
So Ed, I'll just stay here. I want to thank everybody for joining me today, Ed and I, for episode 11 of Deep Dish Live, the Facebook Live series that discusses the business of restaurants for restaurateurs, restaurant buyers and sellers, and the restaurant curious. Next month, Thursday, November 18th, I'm going to go visit my friend Rob at his incredible, I'll talk to you about the whole concept that he operates out of there, 3 Leaves Heritage Foods, and until then, bye-bye.